Hey Joe, welcome to Horsehead Bookends for another Gaming Friday. So, I hope everyone is safe and at home and healthy. We have this whole coronavirus going around, making people sick. So, try to stay inside. Don't go out if you don't have to. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. So, since we're all home, alone, I thought, what better time than to talk about some solo board gaming. I pulled out 3 games. I have a lot of games that are have a solo aspect to them. One of them being Anachrony, which is my favorite, but I didn't pull that one out for this time because it's kind of difficult. It's a little heavy. I did pull out a pretty heavy one. And let's talk about 3 fun games that have a solo mode in them. Alright, the first one I actually did a review on. It's kind of old, so it's probably not that great, but I'll post a link right there in the corner. And that's Castles of Burgundy, the dice game. It's a roll and write game. It's super quick and easy to play. I'm not going to set it up right now, but it is a fantastic solo game to play or play with your family, and it's a lot of fun. Highly recommended. Definitely bust it out and play it if you have it. Okay, for the next game on the list, I also reviewed this as well, and I'll put the link right up there in the corner. Now this is it's about a medium weight worker placement game, and that's Snowdonia. Now this has a great solo mechanic where you actually roll a die and you move these little markers along the track, and it essentially decides what the AI will do. Let's go over to the table and check it out, and I'll tell you exactly what I like about this solo mode. Okay, so now I have Snowdonia set up for a solo game. We have the bot del set up over here. We have me set up over here. I still have some resource cubes that I didn't put in the bag yet. And as you can tell around the board, I don't have all the rubble cubes set up because I haven't finished setting up for a solo game. But all I'm going to do right now is explain the solo mechanism, which I think is a lot of fun. Across the bottom of the board, you can see all these cards laid out that have actual different letters listed, which correspond to the worker placement positions on the board. What you do for the bot del's turn is you roll a d6, and whatever you get, right now I rolled a 3, you would move up a token on the 3 track to B. So that would be where the AI places their worker for the first one. And then you follow the rules and you keep going on and on until the end of the game. Now what I really like about this mechanic is that you can see the choices available to the bot before you make your choices. So you can sort of pre-plan your moves ahead of time. Now, I have talked to some friends, and they think that it's a little bit of cheating because you can determine what the bot del is going to pick. But for me, what I like about the game is that you can pre-plan out your moves for the entire game, so you can actually score more victory points than the bot del by the time the end of the game comes around. Okay, so that was Snowdonia. The solo play is a lot of fun. This is the master set. There's tons of scenarios, and actually I think it's a pretty easy worker placement game to teach other people. So if you have this in your collection, you got other people in your house, bring it out and give it a run through. And hey, if they don't want to play the solo mode. It's a lot of fun, and I believe you can get the solo rules online as well, so definitely check that out. Okay, for my third and last game, now this is a heavier game than the other 2 that I mentioned, and it's actually a sequel to some sort of a game that I used to love, Terra Mystica, and that is Gaia Project. Now, Gaia Project is a variable player power area building and control style game where each player takes on a different faction to score the most victory points. You also have certain tracks that you build, get points into that score you bonuses, which is a lot of fun. Terra Mystica was a great game, and with Gaia Project they implemented an Autonoma version, which I believe was done by Automa Factory, and the mechanism of action it's one of my favorites. I love how this plays solo. I haven't done a review on this before, so I will do one soon, but for now, let's go over to the table and I will show you how the Automa works for Gaia Project. Okay, so here we have Gaia Project set up for a solo game with the Automa, Taclons versus Hajj Talus, which is my faction, and this would be the Automa faction. Now, on first glance, this might look like a very complex game, and it is. I'm not gonna lie about it. However, if you have played Terra Mystica before, you will be very familiar with the actions you can take and the mechanisms and just the way the game moves. But I'm not going to show you how to play this. I just want to talk about how the Automa works because I find it a very interesting mechanic. So what happens is you have a deck right here that you set up in the beginning of the game. Now what you do is you flip over 2 cards, and that essentially tells you what your AI opponent is going to do. So let's flip over 2 cards right away and we'll take a look. Okay, again, a lot of information on the cards here, and I'll bring them closer. If they will focus, maybe, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, there's a card on the left with, these are usually lit up. This is actually a poor example because that's the special ability of the Automa. So we'll flip it this way, and you can see you have a green dot that basically tells you the action you're doing and where you're doing it. And what happens as you play the game more and more, when you're getting new cards, this card would go away. I think it's that card. I think that card gets discarded, this one moves over, and then when you draw another one, when it's Automa's turn again, it has a brand new action, and it will tell you where that action happens. Now, I find this mechanism to be very interesting because it actually makes it like you're playing against a real player. You're not just trying to, say, beat a high score. It makes the game very intriguing, and it forces you to really strategize how you're playing your faction. And like I said earlier, just like Terra Mystica, all the factions have pros and cons, and the more you play it, the more you get accustomed to how to play that faction to the best of its abilities. Okay, so that was Gaia Project. Great game. If you're a fan of Terra Mystica, check it out. I like it so much better than Terra Mystica, and I love Terra Mystica. I played it so many times. The actual game, I have it on my iPad that I play all the time. I loved it. I love this game much more with the modular board and the Automa for single player. It's just great. The theme, I'm not that much into space type games, but the theme is great. This is a winner all around for me, and it's definitely in I think in my top 10 of all-time games so far. Just kind of kicked out Terra Mystica. So there you have it. That was 3 solo games from my collection that I enjoy playing, and the mechanisms that I do enjoy for 2 of them, for Snowdonia and for Gaia Project. I have a ton more solo games, and if you want to see more, let me know below and I'll show you some different ones. I'll bring out Anachrony and show you how that solo mode works. I have Feudum, Tricarion. I do have a good amount of games. Also, let me know what solo games you like. Tell me below. I might have them. If I don't, maybe I'll check them out. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please don't forget to click on subscribe and ring the notification bell. You'll get alerted anytime I upload new videos. Questions or comments, please post them below. And again, let me know what solo games you're playing down below. I want to see if I have them. Otherwise, if I don't, I might look into them because I might want to pick it up. Let's get that conversation started. Otherwise, talk to you later.